Hello and welcome to Law and Order SVU here on FANVERSATION. We are talking season 23, episode 17, Once Upon a Time in El Barrio. I am Yael Tygiel. I am joined by my incredible co-host. We are full house today. Hello, welcome Felicia.
Hey guys.
Hi. And also Taylor Gates is here. Hello, Taylor.
Hey, besties.
Hi. We are here on this Passover / Easter / Ramadan to celebrate SVU. Yep.
As we should.
As one does.
As one does.
Yeah, we already have people live in our chat, which is very exciting. Before we jump into this episode, just so you know, as a special treat, because we missed this episode when it aired, we are doing 2 back-to-back episodes. So join us here and then, of course, jump over to the other episode after. And if you're new here, welcome. Let us give you a hotline in case you need help. The number is 1-800-656-4673. That is the RAINN Hotline. 1-800-656-4673. Co-hosts, what does that spell?
It spells hope.
It does spell hope.
At this point, I've done my job. I have instilled a secure level of anxiety into Taylor at this point in the show. And so I just sit back and I just drink my water.
I was eyeing you the whole time. I was like, if her mouth starts twitching, starts opening,
Sorry.
Well, if you can't tell, we like to be funny here. We can't promise it's always funny, but we can promise we will try.
No, it's always funny. Now, it just might be offensive sometimes, but it's always funny.
All right, that's fair. Please consider this your content warning. We're going to say some things, I'm sure, in this episode, which deals with trafficking. I'm sure I'll say something. And consider this your warning. This might not be the show for you. Okay. You've been warned. This episode, the quick cap, Velasco asks Benson to help find 3 girls who were trafficked from his hometown to New York City. Thoughts on this episode? Taylor?
Here's the thing. Maybe this was on me. Maybe I watched it at the wrong time. I found this episode so boring. I literally paused it, did something else like 4 times. I don't know why. And I can't pinpoint why I didn't like it, but we've seen it. We've seen it. Especially the twist with the captain being that, yeah, duh, that happens every time that there's some bad thing going on. It's some corrupt person that we know. So I'm just like, it wasn't my favorite. And like I said, I can't pinpoint why, but I just was not entertained. I'm sorry.
Felicia?
You know, I truly believe, like, in life, the best results are from things that are not forced. And they forced this shit on us so damn hard. Y'all really want us to like this man, don't y'all? Y'all really want us to love this man. Y'all really want us to love this man. And we done told y'all we don't like him like that. Let him just be in the back and breathe a little bit. Let him say a funny line once in a while. Oh, redo a rewrite. Oh, that one was for Finn. Let's give it to him so that at least they'll laugh at him. Build it up a little bit more. You're really like pushing this guy on us heavy. And that's the part that I didn't like. Also, we made a little jokey joke, piggybacking off what Taylor said. I think before she came in, we were backstage before the show started. And Yael was like, oh, I'm looking for, am I doing Rip from Headlines? Or that's a segment on our show. And I said, what do you mean Rip from the other seasons? Because that's what this was. That's what this was. And I mean, I liked it because, you know, I do like the obvious sometimes. I was happy to see the captain because I'm a huge fan of Orange is the New Black. And I was just like so excited when and I was like, oh, yeah, of course he's ridiculous because he was ridiculous in that show. Of course, he's going to be some ridiculous character or some type of thing, you know, but it was all right. I honestly forgot the ending. I watched it twice. I usually watch twice for the show. And I watched it today. Mind you, obviously I watched it last week. I said, is that how it ended? Oh, shoot, I forgot. Not that memorable. Sorry. What about you, Yael? Hopefully someone enjoyed it.
Felicia, that was the most accurate description of this episode ever. They're 100% forcing him on us. Guys, I get it. Thank you for giving us his backstory. We don't care.
Okay, so now and the more he speaks Spanish is not going to convince us that he is like you're not going to get me like that. You're not going to get me like that.
Well, that's the thing. Here's what I'm saying. Like, he is literally just a combination of like 3 of our primary male characters we've already had on the show. He's a combination of Elliot Stabler, Nick Amaro, and a little bit of Carisi too. I feel I'm just like they just combined all 3 of them into this
Barbara surprise. He's the Barbara surprise because we didn't know Barbara was Hispanic at all until he started speaking. We were all like, oh, I didn't anyway. I was like, oh, he is? Okay. I was shocked. Like, that's what you're giving us again. We got it already.
We've seen this character many times. Like, he's just a combo of the other ones. I'm like, give me something new.
This guy again? Give me somebody on the spectrum. Give me someone on the spectrum who could, like, you know, look on the scene and like peep something different. Give me a little bit of that. Give me some neurodivergence.
Yeah, something different. Because the same.
I gotta tell you what's going on in the chat. Jennifer says, agreed, Felicia. I didn't even mind Velasco, but it's very forced. I agree. Honestly, the less we see of him, the more he is just there in the background. I'm like, oh, I tolerate him. Don't put him front and center. I was like, this Rosani Chavez, Detective Chavez, bring her on the team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You kill her? You kill her?
That was wild. That was wild. I thought she was going to survive. I did, because she kind of got clipped, and I was like, oh, maybe she could.
Got clipped? Girl, on second viewing, I was like, fully plowed. It was a really amazing shot.
He didn't like run over and then back up and then run back.
She rolled up the car.
She did. I was being hopeful.
Holly in the chat says, I keep waiting to care about his character. It isn't happening. True. So true.
Can we say this really fast though? It's not the actor. It's not the actor.
No.
It's not him at all. Like, I actually think that he's acting in the role that they gave him. It's just that I don't like the character that they wrote for him. I don't think like, oh, he's a bad actor and that's what kind of distracts him. Bad acting that really distracts from the storyline. And that's why you don't like get into a character. That's not it. That's how they wrote it.
And here's the thing, like, I don't even dislike the character, honestly, if we're like being honest. But like I said, we've seen it. Like, we've seen it. Give us something different. Like, it's just a new name and a new actor, but it's the same like personality and story that we've seen a million times. That's what bothers me. It's just not original.
Earlier, Jennifer said, sadly, they are running out of ideas. I will say this. I think that we are rehashing a lot of previous episodes, especially in the 2 we're discussing today. And I think that a lot of them feel like they're like, ooh, this part from this part and this part from this episode, and taking little bits and pieces. But I would love it if the end was different. Like, I think that's the thing is, you know, there was an episode, Taylor, you're going to remember the name of it. It's the one with the girl, it's Munchausen by proxy, but she's obsessed with Little Mermaid and then kills her mom. And then it was based on The Act.
Yes, I don't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so The Act was the same story. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That episode was almost identical to a previous episode from early seasons. And I loved that it was the same until she killed her mother. And that was the twist that we didn't see coming. And then that turning out to be real life, even better. But I think that, you know, if we're going to keep rehashing the same old story, they can't all end the same. Like, it can't be the same. There needs to be a twist. If you're going to do it again, but different. Felicia?
I definitely see that, but I can kind of understand they're kind of like, well, how many more other ways is there to tell sex crime stories? It's because it's been done for so long, you know, like how many other ways? But I feel like they did a really great job when they brought in technology. I think it was last season. It was like Turn Me On, Turn Me Off was the Cam Girl episode or whatever.
Yes.
Such a great way to bring in how sex work and how people consume sex and how people have sex has changed because of technology, right? And so I'm sure, again, we always talk about the internet doesn't keep up with like the laws being made. They talk about it all the time. I'm sure there's a little bit more in that realm or to dig in with that kind of area.
I was literally just saying that I think one of the things that the show has, I think, stalled on is man assaults woman. every story seems to be man assaults woman or man gay bashes man. There are so many other stories in the sex crime world that could be told. And I would
bring back the one where the girl was choking herself. That was cool. I like that one. Bring back something like that. Bring some weird, like
autoerotic asphyxiation, baby.
I have talked a lot about how much this show needs to start leaning into kink, and I think that it should. Let's dive into the BDSM community. Why have we still 23 seasons in not done it? Look, some people are into playing dog.
Prime time, baby. It's hard. It's prime time. Some people are ponies. You know, people are ponies, and they
yes,
get like,
I do.
Oh, brony.
Like,
girl.
Can you imagine? That's the sound of my knuckles. If you're listening to the podcast, if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to give this amazing discussion 5 stars, because honestly, who the hell else will get on the internet and talk about this shit but us? Give us some stars.
And write a review, please. We have no new reviews. Anyway, I want to give some actor shout outs, because we did talk about a little bit how Velasco, the writing is not there, but we want to give a shout out to Octavio Pisano, who plays Detective Joe Velasco. He's doing the best that he can. And
he's like good to look at. He's like nice looking and stuff. His suit fits good. I like him.
Okay.
I like his character.
Also, Brad William Henke, who played Captain Don Kubiak, who we know from Orange is the New Black. As soon as he appeared, I went, bad guy.
Yeah.
There's no way. I'm sorry. That actor, always. And I love him, and I would love to meet him and tell him
he's probably the nicest fucking guy in real life. It's always like that. It's like somebody plays a terrible asshole, and then when you meet them in real life, they're like such a nice person. You're like, oh wow, God. I feel so bad that I hated you so much when I was talking about the show you were on. Get the internet, please. Thank you.
I also the one detective that we wanted to keep, Detective Rosani Chavez, played by Karina Ortiz. I loved her. The entire thing of her being undercover and arresting him, and the whole storyline of this idea that they constantly, arrest cops who are like, I'm on the job, and they can't believe them until they're vouched for. And I loved the way that they were like, Velasco said, don't call my captain till the morning. Don't wake her up. And Finn was like, good call. Smart.
Yeah.
I did like that part. Like, I love when they go a little rogue and Olivia has to be like, no. And like, I mean, that's been done so many times that every time I like it. So I like that part. And I did like how, I agree. It was interesting how she was like busting him and he's like, no, like, I'm doing this for that. Like, I think that's interesting too. I'd like a whole, I don't know, like episode kind of more surrounding that, I think.
I'm kind of interested in how that captain became captain of the department that is taking down, like he's directly involved. I would love to hear more of how that came to be.
I mean, I guess they talked about it a little bit more, that they're like, how was he able to even rise in this position? Like, they kind of like brushing things under the rug and so on and so forth. But
they said the old boy network, union protections. That's continue. Say more.
So one thing I noticed too, like in that when Velasco was like so adamant to like continue to do what he wanted to do as far as investigating, was that when Olivia walked away, like she stopped like to tell him no again, and Finn kind of was like, what did she just say? And it gave very much like mother, dad, son, like, well, what did she just tell you to do? Like, what did she just say? And it's like kind of like just reiterates again just how much that Finn has Olivia's back, like in everything. Like, it's not even a question. Didn't even say like, oh, well, maybe you just let him go. He seems really like, he was like, nah, like, what did she just say? Like, she didn't even talk anymore. She just kind of like stopped. If you've ever, like, if you're fortunate enough and blessed enough, not everybody has a mom, but if you have a mom and she has any hilarity in her, she has stopped and just looked at you at some point. Like, I know you didn't just say something again to what I just said to you the first time I said it to you. And like, you're looking like, and then Finn just steps, like, that's how Olivia looked at him. And then Finn was just like, yo, like, nah, you're not doing that. Like, we just told you. And then you get busted. I kind of wanted him to sit in jail like a little bit longer. I wanted it to be a little bit more melee around that, or drama.
I would have been okay with him like being kicked off the case because they were like, if we weren't short staff,
an episode, yeah, we get it.
Like, just fire him. Just get him out.
No, just like you got to sit out, and then he continues to pull his cowboy shit. Like that would have been, you know what I mean? Because then at least he's something. He's doing something.
True.
What else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about this the whole trafficking scam.
Wow.
Here's why. I just want to make sure this is very clear to everyone. The beginning of the episode, we see this, that they're at the modeling agency, and that's how they're getting moved across the border. And she says that it's a $5,000 fee. I just want everyone to know up front that an agency will never ask you for money. It is a scam. In this case, it turned into like trafficking, but generally it's a money scam. Do not ever, your agency will never ask you for money for modeling, acting, singing. They are not asking you for money. You're the money maker. They get their money elsewhere.
Like they might exploit the shit out of you, but
Right.
not directly from your pocket, like not in the beginning anyway.
No, the money comes from the money you earn.
And then they might take that, but
Yes.
no, not ahead of time.
Not up front.
I just felt like this felt like such. I'm not saying it doesn't still happen. I'm sure it does, like more often than it should. But this felt like a very old school scam to me. Like this felt like a season 1 opening to me. You know what I mean? I was like, this is very vintage SVU. Like there was no technology. Like it was none of that. It was just like very straightforward. Yeah, it felt super old school.
So me being from the Atlanta Scammers, New Jersey, I am aware of why scams work, and it's because people want to have hope and belief that one thing in one instance can change their life around that one moment. And those things do happen in life. Those do happen, and that's amazing. But it's not usually on your call. Like it's not usually your call. Like you paying $500 to be on this agency, and now your whole entire world's going to change. It's not $5,000. I said 500 because I couldn't fathom finding $5,000. If I have $5,000, can't I just go through the immigration process? But
right.
Anyway, I want to say that there's some type of like currency change there, and I want to say in my head it's like $500. It cannot be 5,000. But anyway, nothing happens because you like those type of things don't happen because you do it. Like they happen because they happen for you and to you naturally. Like you can't like. So it's too good to be true. And because they just want to change their lives, they're like, yeah, I'll just do that. That's easy. And my entire life will change. And I was like, yeah, it did, but not for the better.
That is true.
That's it.
All right. I want to also talk about Senora's bakery. Now, I'm going to say something here. Doesn't Senora mean like Mrs.?
Yeah, miss.
Sure. She not have a name? We just call her. Everyone's like, oh, you heard about this? It's like being like, I heard about you from woman. Which woman? Which woman told you to come?
I don't know if it's true, but is that different in Spanish that you can just kind of use that and it does mean?
I think it's like a ma'am. I think it's like a ma'am. Like, oh,
yeah, like in a more affectionate respect thing.
Ma'am, like ma'am. And also when you're a person who is in a community like that, like, you know, you could have one name. You could just be like, oh, senora, senora, not like a senora, but that, oh, senora. Okay. Yeah. I know her. Like, and I like to say the chismos. I was so excited. And
I love that. Yeah.
I had it in the line, but I forgot it and it didn't write it.
I
should have wrote it. Okay, yeah. I was like, that's a good one. I didn't write it down, but I was like, yes, the chismos. Like, you know, my roommate is Mexican, and she calls my cat, she calls Morris chismoso. He calls him chismoso, like because he's nosy. So like that's his name in the house. It's like, so that's how I knew chismos was like gossip and like being nosy. So
I was a fan on that one.
It's like it's a baked good.
Is it baked good?
It does sound like one. It sounds like it'd be like a good one, like a puff pastry or something with like cheese in it. Mm-hmm. I'm hungry. Sorry, guys.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. I was a little confused on that. But we also want to talk about the funeral home / clinic because that was a fun surprise that there was a medical clinic with this funeral home. I 100% thought it was going to be a vet. I was like, it's going to be a vet. That's where they're going. Did not see Funeral Home.
Go that route. It is always in most shows too. Like it's like, oh, like kind of medical, but not medical enough for what you need.
I mean, a vet has everything you need except the drugs are different.
You was a dog.
They have surgical tools. They have surgery rooms. They have everything you need except
they have people medicine.
Aside from the meds, they have the same. They have everything you need. A vet is a doctor, just for non-humans.
And so is a dentist.
Yeah, that's true.
I have pissed the medical community off in one sentence.
Anyway, let's talk about the undercoverness at the end. The big. Oh, before that, sorry, I'm going back to my notes. Before that, I want to talk about the reveal of Kubiak, reveal to him that they caught him. How did we feel about this little scenario where Benson was like, "You got to help us," and then they brought in the phone? Thoughts?
It's funny. I mean, it was funny to me. Like look at you. You look so stupid.
Taylor?
Yeah, he's a dumbass, but he's not that much of a dumbass because he played his cards kind of right. And he's like, maybe if you show me some respect, you can get these girls before they're shipped off to wherever. I'm like, sir, you need to stop. That is ridiculous. Like, you were
girls you was fucking, weirdo. Like that. Like
it's like, whoa, you're even worse than I even thought in the first place. Like,
I'm sorry, I'm in rare form. We need a swear jar on this show. It would be so.
I disagree.
We're only on the first episode for today. Sorry, guys.
The more swearing, the better. That's how I feel. So there's a moment when we've gotten Kubiak, we've caught him, and he claims that Lucia and him are, in a relationship. I loved this twist. Was fun. Was when he's like, everything with her was consensual. We're basically dating, and they were like, ooh. Turns out she's 15.
Yeah.
Dude, check before you claim that you're dating them.
Yeah.
It's the perversion of that excuse like that we've heard so many times. And it's just like, are you what in your head, what is constitutes dating? We need a Webster, Alexa. I don't have one of those. Somebody, comment section. What constitutes dating? Because people really have a screwed up perception of that. And I'm gonna leave it there. It might be from my own personal life. I'll leave it there.
This sounds like a discussion we should have offline. All right, so they go and they do this undercover sting and they get the girls and they save everyone. I have to ask this question. This is what my notes say, because this is the part, it occurred to me both times I watched this episode. Why do criminals trust dirty cops? Because this guy obviously has no loyalty, right? Like if he is a cop who is breaking the law, I'm sure that as a criminal, you're like, oh, now I have this thing on them. But also he's still a cop and will turn on you to save themselves.
Yeah.
To go to his cops and be like, I pretended that I was dirty, right? Like they have this way of arguing. I just can't imagine as a criminal trusting a dirty cop. That is the last person you should trust.
I feel like the benefits outweigh the risk though, in a way, because he's like, yeah, I'll drive him and I'll just flash my badge if we get pulled. So it's like you get so much like benefit from it that the risk is almost like it's almost worth it, I feel like. If you can keep them on your side. I'm just saying that's what I feel maybe the thought process. I don't know. I've never trafficked anyone before, personally.
Well, that's good to know.
Not yet.
Well, I don't think I will be doing so.
Not with that attitude.
And that's why we have a content warning. That's why we have one. It's because of Yael.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, let me not do that. No, I ain't gonna throw my girl under the bus. It's probably 60% because of Yael, 40% because of me. And then Taylor, I'm just gonna give you some percentage of it. You can have whatever's left.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry, there's nothing. Taylor's so sweet. Well, you are so sweet. You're not the problematic one. It's us. We're sorry.
Drama. I'm not the drama.
Also, for anyone who's wondering, the content warning was 100% a choice that I made and put into the show. 100% to protect my ass.
Yep.
So wait, so back to the ending of this. It was super unbelievable. Like, it was super unbelievable. I was like, I'm not, and I just got finished watching Harry Potter, and I was fully invested in that, and this shit was super unbelievable to me. Because I'm like, not the guy who, bam, 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 she beat that girl up, poured gas on her, lit a match, and lit her on fire, and he's going to just toss his gun over to you, Olivia Benson? I feel like he's crazy, and he just might be like, I'm going to see how many I can get off.
Sure.
Honestly, that's a really good point, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, there's no way that this is just going to end this easy. Like, it felt so easy.
I thought Velasco was going to get shot.
Yes, that's what I thought was going to.
And aren't we all bummed that he didn't?
No.
He could just be on death duty. I don't want him to die. I don't want his character to die. Even though that does not stop Dick Wolf from bringing you back. We might see that woman again. It does not stop him from bringing somebody back. Just if their character dies, he will bring them back. He doesn't.
Daryl in the chat says, I assume you don't trust them. You work with them because you can turn on them and probably make a deal.
Good point.
Good point,
Daryl.
Thank you, Daryl. Thanks for answering. It bothered me both times I watched the episode. Yeah. I was like, because genuinely, I was thinking about it and I was like, let's say that he wasn't actually a bad cop and that he was just undercover this entire time. Like, you literally showed him the workings of your entire enterprise and how you do things and got him involved.
When he could turn on you. Inside them little girls, I think he pretty much knew he was bad. So he probably was like, okay. He was fucking them. Like, because like we've seen this before with their like undercover situations when they're like tempted by like drugs or to commit, crime, and they have to try to figure out a way to like finagle out of that.
Right.
He's very much an active participant. So I'm yeah. And he looks, he doesn't look that smart. He doesn't look that smart,
That's fair. All right. Any final thoughts on the episode before we move to our other fun segments?
We still don't like Velasco, and yeah, that's that.
Have it. I do. This is like a random thing that I like, but I do like when they have to go undercover as like pimps and bad guys, because it always reminds me of the episode Hot House. I think it's Hot House, right? Where Olivia is like undercover with that like fur coat.
Oh, right.
I just always like that, to like see them have to play kind of slimy and like they have to know all of the like, no, we're like was it like negotiating and stuff like that. I don't know. I do like those kind of undercover scenes. Like, I did kind of enjoy that part because I just find them interesting to have them have to go play like bad.
I think Velasco, we met him undercover. We've seen him always want to be undercover. He does undercover well. Yeah. And I'd be cool with if he was like a captain, Lieutenant Murphy, who was always like, what if we go undercover? What if we go undercover? Let's go undercover. And that would be fun if like that was his personality, was like, ooh, I could always go undercover.
Ah, that's a good point. Even when he was a Lyft driver, or sorry, was it Quick Ride driver? Like, I like him undercover. That's true. I always, my affinity for him always goes up when he's not being himself.
The problem is that I feel like you're right. He very much to me feels like a mix of Amaro and Carisi.
Yeah.
I totally see that, right? He's got the like
Cat. He came in like Cat.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't enter hard, because I'm just gonna get sad again.
But his character really, like, when you think about it, he's got a lot of like Amaro's, essence. I'm going with that. And then he has the like,
it's what? The shoulders. It's the suit.
Yeah. And then he has the like, I would say the ignorance of baby Carisi when he first showed up. Mustache Carisi.
Oh God.
When he like kept messing up and was shitty.
And no one liked him.
And he has the Catholicism of Elliot Stabler and borderline, sometimes a little ragey.
Carisi also was, but Carisi also.
Yeah, they're all super Catholic, but But I just always think of Elliot. He was like the OG, like, I'm Catholic, I have daughters. Like, that was his whole personality.
That's true. All right, let's move on to one of our favorite segments, Best Lines.
Yes.
All right, who would like to start?
I'm gonna go because I only have like 2.
Okay.
It's definitely the scene where they're confronting this guy because he's a piece of shit cop and they're acting like they need his help. And I love that because I love to backdoor somebody like in real life and on shows. I love it. Like, let me just let you hang yourself, right? Love that shit. When his phone rings, they're like, identify the phone number and they call it and his phone rings. And then Finn, of course, always Finn. That's your life sentence calling, dude.
I like that one too.
I was like, this is hilarious. And then instead of this man actually being mortified that he's been caught being a dirty cop, his response is, screw you. Also, lawyer.
Okay.
Screw me. No, screw you. Like you're a dirty cop and a pedophile and a trafficker. Screw me.
Also, lawyer.
Like,
oh, damn it, Felicia. Those are my 2.
he should have had a lawyer ready. If he knew he was like so messed up like that, you need to get a Better Call Saul type of lawyer. You better get somebody who's just as dirty and grimy and crappy as you on speed dial. Because the minute that I start to be as nefarious as I want to be, I will get myself a lawyer on speed dial.
I have a lawyer on speed dial.
That's good.
I wanted to make a joke right there, but it's Passover and it's Easter and it's Ramadan. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Okay. All right. I want to know what the joke was. But Taylor, take us away with Best Lines because Felicia took my only 2.
Sorry.
Well, I think you guys didn't like this one. Hope you liked your breakfast because you might see it again. I really liked that one.
That is a good one.
We mentioned this one, but cheese may, what's that mean? Pastry? No, not at all. Nobody likes a bakery full of cops. Fair enough. And then finally, she can describe your client's genitals in pretty specific detail.
Yes. I have that one as well. I forgot about that. I love that one.
Specific detail, though.
Pretty specific detail. I don't know.
So I was
micro penis, mole, mushroom. It's one ball smaller than the other.
I will say, watching American Crime Story impeachment right now, like I watched these back to back, and that came up in that too, and I was like, why are there so many specific penises today? This feels homophobic towards me.
I will say, upon watching this episode both times, as they say that line in pretty specific detail, I started thinking back to genitals that I've seen. I was like, how would I describe these in such a detail that it could be used in a court case?
That is magical. That sounds like a very interesting conversation. I'm making a note.
I just don't know. I mean, I think I have colorful words to describe things. I just don't know that it would have to stand out. But now, sorry guys, I'm on a tangent now about describing genitals. Moving on.
I'll have that conversation again with someone else. Maybe not here, but I'll have that conversation again because that shit's interesting and it's probably hilarious. But again, totally inappropriate.
Welcome to our show.
Taylor's like, don't traumatize me anymore.
But genitals is not limited to peni. We can discuss also other genitals.
Got me there.
I am happy to also describe those in detail. Moving on. I describe all genitals in detail.
That's a slippery slope.
Inclusivity.
Nice. All right. Moving on.
They're probably live. They're like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Sorry, y'all.
I'm sorry. We have I have show news to share, everybody. Woo. So I'm gonna share this on both of our episodes, just because I don't recall where it should fit. But for those who've missed it, Garland will be back in episode 19. Also in episode 20, we will see Stabler and guest star Reggie Lee, whom some of you may know from Grimm or other amazing shows. He was on All Rise. He's an incredible actor. And Aidan Quinn will be back in episode 21. Aidan Quinn played Benson's childhood boyfriend / the guy who groomed her.
Wait,
So-
is he the one?
That man's coming back.
Is that the same guy who made a lot of money on podcasts?
That is the guy who made money on podcasts.
Which is a lie, you guys. It's a lie. All we ask is you leave us a review. If you don't get paid, we're not asking you to pay us. We're just asking you to write us a review. And rate us 5 stars on iTunes, 4 stars if there's a problem. But you can't do any other ones. You know what?
But please comment.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just review.
Write something. Also, we like to make sure that we let you know if our show crosses over with the mothership or organized crime. As you may have caught at the top of this episode, we got a little bit of a squad update. Finn was worried about what's going on with Stabler, that he was booted out of the organized crime unit, and Benson tells him not to worry about it, not to worry about her, not to worry about Stabler, and that's all she can say. If you're watching organized crime, then you know that he's undercover as a dirty cop, so whatever. That's what's happening over there. But it seems that we will be crossing over with them. Rumor is that Benson's going to appear in the finale of Organized Crime. That rumor was not confirmed by the SVU staff. So
just let it be. Like, if it can't stand on, like, I'm not even trying to be smart. If it really cannot stand on its own, or you could do these crossovers in significant ways that are other than what seems like ploys to pull viewership over, I get it. The first season, cool, we understand. But if you're going to keep doing that, that's like slightly annoying. I'm currently watching The Mothership, and they haven't said shit about anybody else. And it's their season 1. I mean, they have some storylines I feel like could probably fit a little bit better in the SVU universe, but I'll leave that there. But they haven't said anything about it. Let it stand on its own. If Chris Maloney is Chris Maloney, if that's not enough to sell the show, I don't know what else you could do.
I agree. Also, I will say,
make the show and watch it. Appreciate your effort, appreciate your hard work, but like, I'm tired.
Look, he's
watch that show.
I'm sitting through it. It's back to being interesting. But I will say, as I said, he's undercover as a dirty cop. And as Jennifer says,
a goatee again.
He does not have the goatee.
Good.
So Jennifer says, so as himself. That is right. He is playing a dirty cop as himself.
Jennifer, the shade on that comment. I love it.
It's great shade. It's also accurate because literally Benson says to him, "You're undercover as Elliot Stabler." Yeah.
Oh, Rollins back.
Yes, Rollins came back from vacation.
Yay.
Okay. Moving on. What else do we do on this show? Our weekly poll. Taylor, what's the poll this week?
So
was it super creative and clever?
Yep. But first we have to get the results of the poll that we asked last time. We talked about the episode Sorry If It Got Weird For You. That's the one where my power was out that I still gave. But that was a while ago. I kind of forgot about that. But anyway, the poll was, what is your favorite episode with a mom who's on the Fosters? Because I love the Fosters. Guys, these polls are getting weirder and weirder, but you know what? Just like they're running out, I'm running out, okay? So in last place was American Disgrace, season 16, episode 2. In third place was Confession, season 10, episode 2. Oh, both the Terry Polo episodes. That's sad. Sorry, Terry Polo. Sherry Solomon episodes were 1 and 2. In second place, Sorry If It Got Weird For You. In first place, with a whopping 52.2% of the vote, Gambler's Fallacy.
How surprising.
Very disappointed if it was anything else. But yeah, that was last week's. This week, I simply want to know which of these two you liked better, since we're talking about 2 today. And right now, this one has 0%. And 18 Wheels of Predator has 100%. We'll see if that changes. And by the time we end the podcast for the other one that we're talking about in just a few minutes. We'll see you in a moment though.
That is so funny.
That's 8 votes. It's not like 2 votes. 8 people were like, no.
I guess my question is, can anyone, if anyone is watching us live, liked this episode? Tell us what you liked.
Yeah.
Because there are bits that I liked.
Moments, but overall, it's just.
I mean, I'm on Twitter and I don't know if she's lying or not, but she said it was a hard choice because both are really good. I'm like on Twitter and I was like, maybe I should just give this episode a vote because I feel bad for it.
Oh, I want to see if we can sweep.
Leave it alone then. I feel bad.
No one vote for this one. I'm just kidding.
No,
vote your heart.
Vote your heart.
Vote your heart.
But if you're in our chat, let's list some positives, because I don't like to shit on an episode unless it's actually bad, and I think that
really
we have seen
bad, like
right.
Daryl, it is season 1 for the mothership. They were gone for I don't know how many years. It is season 1 again, kinda. If you put the number, if you know it,
it's 21, season 21.
So it's a 1 in there.
Here's what I want to say. I have one episode of this show that is objectively bad.
I know exactly what you think.
And that is my barometer. And any episode that's not as bad as that one.
Okay.
Are you
telling the episode?
It's the Barbara leaving episode.
It is Barbara's last episode. It makes no fucking sense. He doesn't. I get so mad. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Who the fuck is that? It does not make sense.
You're right. You're right.
Anyway, look, I'll say Stone's last episode was also confusing and weird and stupid, but not as ridiculous.
It's Stone. So I didn't care how we got him out as long as we got him out. Sorry.
Well, I think that was a season where like he pretty much is useless if he has a shirt on. Like
I did say that.
That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of how you spoke of Velasco, which is valid.
I disagree, because Stone was actually useless with a shirt on, whereas Velasco is useless unless he's undercover or has no shirt on.
Or has no shirt on. There's two. You can go either way.
This man is useful. Gosh, that's hard to say.
Holly says, I liked the episode. Had a vintage feel. That's true. It did feel old school. Finn had some great lines, 100%. Not my fave, but didn't hate it. Thank you.
Fair. Yeah, that's totally valid.
Daryl says, I will say they really focus on Velasco, whereas most episodes are all over the place. That is also true. We did get backstory on him. We learned more about where he's from. They mentioned a couple times that like he got out from where he was. He was in like a gang dominated place, a cartel dominated place, and he got out. How? Tell me more. Like, make us like him if you're going to force him on us.
I don't know, like some old memory of like maybe saving some girl who and his journey of coming to America who could have been put in a compromising position. Make us feel like there is something innately in him that will make him good at this job eventually, right?
Yeah, it's also, maybe it's because I'm not a religious person, but like his fight for these girls were because the priest asked him to. It didn't feel like he cared particularly about these girls as much as like it was a task that was given upon him. You know what I mean?
I thought he did because he had made the journey over and he felt that he was indebted to this priest who had helped him and his mom come over. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he understands or maybe he understood that his journey could have went differently because their journey totally went completely opposite of what they thought they were going to get in coming to America, right?
That's fair. Those are fair points. All right. Well, let's talk about what did we learn?
Girl, every episode, I forget we have this segment. Don't ask me why. Every single one.
So I have something for the next episode, but not for this one.
I feel like I knew it, but then it refreshed the memory for me. What chisme means. Lot of pastry, I'll tell you that much.
It's funny because I'm going to hear that word out in real life and still think of a pastry.
Yeah.
We learned about Velasco's background. So I learned about this person. Wait, somebody said I didn't learn a damn thing.
Jennifer.
I'm trying to silence.
Brutal.
Oh my God.
Brutal today. Let's see.
I'm mad that you knew exactly what I was laughing at before I even could say what I was laughing at.
Because I saw it. Aw, that's so sweet. Except from us three. I just learned
What
you're learning
valid things.
Okay. I learned from Daryl, I learned why a criminal would not necessarily trust, but want to work with a dirty cop.
That was a great observation.
That was a good observation. I was about to say I learned that when I really think about it, I could probably describe genitals in specific detail.
Great.
Differentiating between dicks. So much fun. So much edification.
Not just dicks.
Well, they were talking about dicks. So
I know they were, but I learned that I can differentiate and describe all the genitals in all the detail.
Differentiating. I need people to laugh at that. I'm so proud of it.
It's good. It's good. I didn't hear it the first time.
I'm saying it again.
I love that.
All right. What else do we do here? That's what we learned. I'm excited to talk about the next episode, honestly. Before we move on to our next episode, which will be happening in a different episode thing here. And Jennifer also gave you a laugh.
Thank you. God, thank you. I feel validated now.
For those who haven't already, we are on Spotify, which is where you can watch us and listen to us, as well as on YouTube. We're also on iTunes and everywhere you listen to podcasts. Please, if you're on iTunes, rate and review us. We've talked about it multiple times now. Also, we sell merch. I was going to say very cute merch, but you make your own decisions. Oh. We sell merch that exists. Somebody bought something, I think the Noah be true to yourself Noah stuff, and if that is you, we would love to see what you got. Yes, please post it on social media. We love seeing people wearing the merch that we made, especially that one. I think is just such a great message. And so we said that any money from that, the Noah stuff, we're going to donate probably to Trevor Project or another organization. So your money is going towards them. All the other stuff we make very little money on these. Taylor, tell me, how much money do podcasters make?
Like a lot. If you're the guy that Olivia groomed Olivia, you make a lot. If you're us, a little less so.
You mean like if you're a predatory white man that uses the N-word?
That you make a ton.
Familiar. Is there somebody you know like that?
Hilarious insight on Law and Order SVU. Unfortunately, it's a little bit less.
So we make and sell this merch for fun, not for money. So please enjoy it and share your enjoyment with us, because we like to see it, not because we think that we're going to become wealthy from it.
Because we're already wealthy. We already make so much money doing this.
I'm rich in experience, but I could definitely take some more money. I don't know what you're talking about. Life experience, honey.
Yeah. That said, rate and review us, please. We're going to move on in the next 10. I gave us a break between the two episodes, but in 10 minutes or so, you will find us on the other episode talking about season 23, episode 18. 18, what is it? 18 Wheeler
Predator.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be talking about that in just a bit. Make sure you join us there, because today's not over. Yep.
Just
all right.
Started back to back, baby.
But before we leave, Felicia, where are you on the internet?
Oh man. Okay. So on the internet, I'm
man.
It's Taylor's reactions to me. Laugh. I do the crazy shit that I do because I try to get a reaction out of Taylor, and it's all in the eyes. Anyway, if you're on Instagram, I'm on Instagram all the time at Felicia Michelle. I am on Twitter and I'm verified, but I am the worst tweeter in the world. Just yell at me on Twitter. You can say whatever you want to me on Twitter. If you hate what I say on this show and you're upset, tweet me. I'll never see it. You can get it out and I'll be good. We'll both be at peace. And yeah, I think that's where I'm at on the internet right now. I'm just kind of chilling. I'm like in relax mode between shows and doing kind of stuff. Sometimes you just gotta rest.
Yeah. All right. Before Taylor tells you where to find her, I want to give some shout outs to our live chat. Daryl is here, who is leaving because Daryl's not caught up. Jennifer, Danny Thomas, who said, sorry, I'm late. Missed y'all. Hope you had a good birthday, Taylor.
Thank you, Danny. I did. Aw.
So sweet. Holly is here. Jennifer was making us laugh this whole episode, killing us. And Zach, so funny. So good. Thank you guys. Anyone who's live watching us live, thank you for being here live. Taylor, where are you and where can everyone find the poll?
Yeah, well, unlike Felicia, I'm actually very good at Twitter. And so you can find me there and the poll at alphabet_. And you can also find me on Instagram, which Felicia is better at than me. We all have our strengths. But you can find me there at Taylor_Gates_.
Amazing. I am Yael Tygiel. I am everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That is YAELTYGIEL. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am queen of both. That's not true. I do both. I think that's all I have to promote. Oh, I have a show on the HCA, the Hollywood Critics Association channel. We're coming back this week. You can check that out. I'll tweet about it because I do. And then, yeah. All right. We'll see you in just 10-ish minutes in the other one. If you're watching us not live, well, you missed out. Okay. Bye, everybody.